But to facilitate a relationship actually requires her to grow, change. She needs to perform. Most women don't perform in relationships. They exist in a relationship. And that's why I said the question earlier, men need to raise their standards and ask for more, because that's the divide right now. You're seeing men that's still performing, but overwhelmingly women have never really performed. They've showed up and that was it. They got everything handed to them. And that's men's fault. And I hold them accountable.
That lady from last show told her story. And every time a woman is explaining a failed relationship or saying a past relationship, the first thing they want to do is inoculate themselves from responsibility. They want to inoculate them. They want to excuse themselves from the role they played in those failures. Because what men understand is that if we have 10 relationships that we fell in, we're the common denominator. With women, if they fell in 10 relationships, it's 10 other niggas' faults. It's 10 other niggas' mama's faults. And that's what, again, accountability is what's killing the dating market. Because if you go on a date with mommy, she said, I ain't got to talk to you about the shit that I went through with my ex because I'd already dealt with it. Right? You go on a date with Toya, she just admitted out loud that she's willing to go back to a nigga that she said was crazy, a liar, and she didn't trust. And that's the woman you got to date. That's the woman that you got to bring your best self for. Take to your best restaurant, put on a fresh outfit, get your hair cut for, make sure you're saying you driving the right car, make sure you've accomplished all the things that women want a man to have accomplished. Then that's the woman you're going to get. You see what I'm saying?
I wouldn't actually do that. I was just joking.
It sounds good. Yes, it's a joke. It's a joke after we've pointed out the hypocrisy in it. But like the thing is, we can't. Men, when we come here, we talk about exes. We don't ever. When have you seen an ex come here and downplay? Excuse me, a masculine man. We had that one gay dude up here. That's different. We don't see us come up here and badmouth our exes because we understand that anything we say bad about our ex says is a fucking incrimination on us too. Because again, we chose her. We picked that person. So if that woman was this, and this shit, we still picked her, and we get the ultimate responsibility because we're the ones that grant access to relationships. So I just want to make sure that for the entire panel and everybody watching, y'all understand what happens, and that's the drastic difference between men and women when we're telling our stories.
I want to say this as well because Mommy 3 had said that she's healed and she don't bleed over into what her past is. We got to be mindful that subconsciously it still happens. So we may think that we heal. We may think that, like I've survived. I'm in a different place. I'm in a different mindset. I went through my healing journey, whatever that may look like, but it still happens. Like some of those tendencies that you have. I mean, I'm including myself. I'm not just saying it's a man or woman thing, but our experiences definitely shape who we are when we are adults and we show up in these relationships. And sometimes it's going to take a little bit more thought into how we move and how we should be moving when it comes to it. Because if you could still be doing some things and just not realize that it's actually happening. And if you can't really step outside your body and look at it from that lens, then I think you're going to continue to do it. You're going to continue to point the finger and say, it's not me, it's them. You got to look at the results. If it wasn't you, what are your results? Say. Go ahead, Keisha.
So your question was who gets better, right? Who actually gets better, men or women? And I was writing this down. I don't think either or gets better. I don't think neither men nor women gets better with age. I think people get better with intention overall, because I feel like some men get better, or some men appear to get better with age because they gain resources, stability, confidence. They become more desirable socially, but that doesn't automatically mean they are emotionally available, or I think I wrote in my notes that they have better communication, or they ready for commitment. But then I wrote, but some women appear to struggle more with age. So now the older they get, the clock is ticking. We still don't have a man. Women don't work on better discernment or boundaries or self-worth or emotional intelligence. So I think it's a mix of like all of them. I feel like men gain value with time, but women gain wisdom. And then wisdom is what kind of sustains relationships over time from experience, I guess.
I think that you're confusing experience with wisdom, because experience is just something that you go through. Wisdom is something you learn from. And unfortunately, the way that old women date proves they haven't learned shit from what they were doing.
Well, I think there's a reason behind that. Like as Lakeisha was talking, I think it sounds good. So, you know, respect to you. But I believe women really don't grow and date successfully, mainly because I don't think they really do it. Let me explain. I think they exist in a relationship that we create for them. I don't know a lot of women who actually know how to facilitate a relationship because there's talent, there's skills, and there's maturity. The reality is, like Willie just said, you got these 40, 50, 60-year-olds who may have entertained or had men come and go, but to facilitate a relationship actually requires her to grow, change. She needs to perform. Most women don't perform in relationships. They exist in a relationship. And that's why I said the question earlier, men need to raise their standards and ask for more, because that's the divide right now. You're seeing men that's still performing, but overwhelmingly women have never really performed. They've showed up and that was it. They got everything handed to them. And that's men's fault. And I hold them accountable when I land.
Can I say one thing? So I want to kind of respond to what Lapeef said about Lapeef, what you said? You said something about can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, no, I was just saying that we have to be careful as far as being self-aware, because sometimes we're not as self-aware as we think that we are.
Okay,
So how we approach things and say, I've done the healing, I've done the work, everything should be good on my end. But even when you exist in some of those relationships, like your past experiences do continue to still bleed over, and sometimes if you're not extra careful with it, it could be happening even though you don't realize it's happening.
And I want to respond to that. So in a situation like that, if I'm with a man and we together and like we accept both of, like if he have kids, I have kids or whatever, in a situation like that, I'd rather for my man to call me out on it. Like honestly, like I don't care if he see me, if I'm not the way that I discipline my kids, if he see it as a, like, hey, maybe you should like fix this issue, or I'd rather for him to tell me. I'd rather for my man to tell me than the therapist to tell me, because like he sees me, we in that household, or we together, or he's seeing some things. If he sees some things that I'm flawed in, that I'm not really quite understanding, like you said, I might feel like I'm healed. I might feel like, I got everything together because I'm not dwelling on the past or dwelling on a relationship. But I'd rather for a man, if he sees something wrong at what I'm doing, I don't care if it's parenting, I'd rather for him to call me out on those things.
Well, I'm gonna say this in response to you, and again, we're just having a conversation. Yeah. It's not anything against you, but I mean, a lot of people are not good communicators. So sometimes a lot of folks are not even qualified to even be able to get you to a place where y'all can kind of like level set. This is something that sometimes just come off experience. Some people got it, some people don't get it, but a lot of us don't know how to communicate. And if somebody tries to tell you about yourself, then if you guys are not already aligned, then you become on defense at that point. So it's going to be difficult, and it's going to spiral out of control. That's why I say we have to first focus on self and come to the realization that we are flawed and that we do make mistakes. So even though you may feel like you're right in the moment, you have to take a step back from there and say, well, let me explore it a little bit more. Let me go a little bit deeper, because is there something that I may have missed? Is there something that I may have miscommunicated? And then try to navigate it from there. But most people are not operating on that frequency. Most people, they just jump in the gun every single time. Like, this takes a lot of care and thought in your decision making and your response. And a lot of people just respond off an impulse, and they don't like criticism. Like, it's very difficult. I don't like when somebody try to tell me I'm wrong. I hate to listen. I don't want to listen. I want to talk majority of the time. I know y'all, I don't talk on here a lot, but I want to dominate the conversation. I don't want to listen. I don't want nobody telling me about what the hell I said. I know what I'm talking about. But because I know that I'm flawed and that you're going to continue to learn throughout life, if I'm thinking logically, I have to approach things in a certain way. And so if I approach it this way, then I have a better chance of getting it to a place where it can actually grow. So like, my mindset's a little bit different. And I wasn't always like this. I mean, I had a certain level, but as I get older and I'm just watching and observing, this makes better sense to me. And hopefully I can explain it where it makes sense to you. Because if we just all the time like this, what's the goal? What's the mission?
So I agree with
I think a
Lapeef.
lot of times people just
Also-
listen to respond and not to understand. That's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry, Rashida.
I know. So I was saying I agree with Lapeef to the point of when in terms of self-awareness and self-reflection, also to Willie's point that he made earlier when he was talking about um what men and women add to relationships that make it a failed relationships, right? What part we play that make it that way, right? That self-awareness piece, that self-reflection and understanding where where you go wrong as a person, um how your communication style or skills did not a- add up, did not align with what you guys thought you were moving towards. And so I just think that self-awareness piece is real important, and I definitely agree with that.
I don't think a lot of women um, heal until they meet a certain caliber of man who just going, going to put them on a lot of game, almost, mentor them and like be a mirror to them.
Don't heal from relationships or self-healing.
In life. Like I think being with a certain type of man is just going to like show you like just a different level of he going to show you who you are. I think he's going to be a mirror to you. You're going to see all your flaws. You're going to see everywhere that you fall short, especially when it comes to being a partner or in a relationship. You're going to see all of that once you're with a certain type of guy.
My I'm sitting there trying to think about what you just said, and I get what you're saying, but I think at a certain point, some women operate out of survival, and at some point they don't really have a choice. And so when they choose a certain man or accept a man, I still think it's not what they really want, but they don't have a choice at this point. So this is what they bring into, and it sounds good because I've experienced it where you would hear certain things and they'll tell you certain things, but it's like I don't believe that's in you yet, and it may not never be in you, but because you have to survive, that this is what I'm gonna go with, and there's still a possibility that they will revert back to their default setting depending on what's going on throughout their relationship.